Hello, everybody, and welcome to Around South Jersey. One of my special guests tonight is one of my special buddies. It's Joe Condo, and Joe is the man who turned Cumberland County around, along with Senator Testa, obviously. But congratulations on the great job that you guys have done. How many years, Joe's, have been now? 5?
Since I've been in Cumberland County politics, started in 2019. That's when I met Michael Testa, when he was running for the Senate in 2019. And I've been milling around Cumberland County in places I won't talk about online since about 2011. But it was 2019 when I first emerged in Cumberland County politics, as I met Michael Testa and Antoine McClellan and Eric Simonson when they were running for the legislature in 2019. So I got involved in their campaign. I don't actually live in Cumberland County.
Right.
I live in that sliver of Atlantic County, as Assemblyman Eric Simonson refers. It is God's country, right? Nothing more. There are definitely more woods than there are people out where I live.
Estelle Manor?
Estelle Manor.
Yeah.
I live in Estelle Manor. And so there's the 3 towns in Atlantic County that are still part of the 1st Legislative District that Senator Testa and Assemblyman Simonson and McClellan represent. And so I introduced myself to them then, and as you know, I've been in politics for every bit of 40 years, and so they assigned me the responsibility for those couple of towns in Atlantic County, and I said quite arrogantly, you're not giving me 3 tiny little heavily Republican towns, and so I started, right, that was just not enough work, and so I inserted myself with the Senator's blessing, and I'll never stop thanking him for welcoming me into Cumberland County. We took over most of the 1st Legislative District that year, and then since then, 2020 was what it was.
Yeah.
But since then, obviously, we've been winning all over the county and have had a great deal of electoral success here. So happy to be an honorary citizen of the county of Cumberland, and thank you too for welcoming me into the Cumberland County family.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Joe and I have talked about this. I'll just rehash it for a minute. I always heard about Joe, but I didn't know Joe, and I'm with Nick Aselda a couple years ago at the Eastland Country Club, and he points down the other end of the bar. He said, and Joe was having dinner. He said, "That's Joe Condo." I said, "No." So I go over to say hello, and you said to me,
right, I knew who you were.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Mayor. How are you? I had heard of you forever, so we finally had a chance to meet. And yeah, so I like to think that I'm underground and nobody knows who I am, but every once in a while, something happens.
Well, and it was funny because Joe and I got talking about how Florio took me out of office and Florio put him in office in 1989?
Well,
90?
1990. 1990, yeah, because I got elected to council in Barrington, my hometown in Barrington. I'm actually from Camden County, of course. I got elected in 1989 to council, the only Republican in Camden County to unseat an incumbent Democrat in 1989, because that was the Florio landslide when he got elected governor.
That's right, yeah.
And he was our congressman there, so he was immensely popular. Yeah. And he got elected governor in a landslide in 1989, especially in Camden County. And that's how I made a name for myself as the only Republican to unseat an incumbent Democrat in the Florio landslide of 89. Then $2.8 billion in tax increases later, which, by the way, is paled by toilet paper, paled by comparison to the Murphy tax increases. But I'll let that go for a minute.
We'll get to Jack.
We'll get to Jack Generelli in a minute. But so $2.8 billion in tax increases later. 1990 was a landslide victory for the Republicans. And so I was on the ballot that year for county commissioner, was freeholder county freeholder at the time. And so I got elected in 1990 in the Florio landslide, and I think you were defeated in 91.
Right,
in the backlash years.
But you became director, right?
I did become director in 91 under sad circumstances. I mean, one of my earliest mentors, Michael DePiro, God rest his soul, he was the freeholder director.
I see.
And he passed away age 49 years old.
Oh, my God, Joe.
Of liver cancer.
Oh, geez.
And so nobody saw that coming. Yeah, it was a terrible thing. But the result of it was I was the deputy director, and then we had an argument over who was going to be the new freeholder to replace him. And I won that battle on the county convention floor and became the freeholder director.
Well, it's funny, the similarities of what you just said. I was freeholder from 1982 to 1991, and I lost in 91 to the Florio backlash. But one of the fellows, Jim Parent, who ran the election board and voting and all that, In 1985, Ed Salmon and I survived the Tom Kean landslide.
Right.
And we were two of the few Democrats in the whole state that won.
You're right, because that was actually where we finally punched a hole through the wall in Camden County. We had 3 Republican freeholders elected in 1985. Yeah. That was the first Republicans elected, and Michael DePiro was one of them. Michael DePiro, I referred to earlier, was one of them. And we finally pierced the wall in 1985. The first Republicans had won in Camden County since Watergate in the early 70s.
Jeez.
And so we won in the Kean landslide of 85, narrowly, but we won.
Yeah.
And you were one of the few Democrats to survive that in 1985.
And then Jim Parent said to me, Jim, you survived a Kean landslide, you'll never have to worry about losing. Well, coming up to, actually, I was freeholder. It was similar to what you're saying. In 1989, I became the deputy director to the freeholder board. Chuck Fisher had been director for years and years and years. So I became his deputy. And unfortunately, Chuck was in his early 80s. He passed away maybe 3 months into the term. And then I became the director because which we have some similarity there, when he passed away. So I was freeholder director for 3/4 of 1989 and all of 1990. And then when 91 coming, I thought, I don't think I want to stay as freeholder director. I got to get out and campaign and do the things I had to do. And still I got blown away because of the Florio backlash. So it's a lot of it, as we're talking about, Joe, is timing, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Timing and hindsight, people find it very easy to point in hindsight and say, oh, well, you were in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
But they don't understand what it took to get to that in foresight and to actually to be on the ballot. For example, in my case, I say, how did I end up on the ballot in 1990 to luck into, and I'll talk about that all day, how it wasn't luck, but how was I fortunate to be on the ballot in 1990? By being the only Republican in Camden County to unseat an incumbent Democrat in 1989.
Well, you earned it.
And so then in 1990, I'm on the only Republican ticket ever to beat George Norcross in a countywide election.
Oh, my God.
In
That's
Camden
fantastic.
County. Now, no Republican has won since, but we have the distinction of being the only Republicans ever to have beaten George Norcross in a countywide election in Camden County. And so, I'm the last freeholder director in the history of Camden County. That's a distinction I'll take to my grave now. I'll be the answer to a Trivial Pursuit question, I suppose, for all the value that has. But it's been an awfully long time. And when you think back now, we're talking 35 years since the Republicans won in Camden County.
Wow.
But applying the same tactics that Michael DePiro and George Geist, former Senator, Chairman, Judge George Geist, taught me in Camden County. Michael Testa, shout out to Senator Testa. He's just like the best of the best. Honestly.
He's amazing, isn't
Absolutely
he? Really
amazing.
is, yeah.
The total package. He's got the charisma.
Absolutely.
He's got the presence. He's got the intelligence.
He's got the great family. He's surrounded by
absolutely has a
everything.
great family, supportive family, and tremendous number of supporters locally and around the state. Michael will be the senator for obviously as long as he wants to be, unless and until he decides he wants to move up somewhere, which lots of people are encouraging him to do.
But we'd miss him.
We'd miss him here, exactly. And so I don't know that I would encourage him to move up. But
I remember we talked about him potentially getting the Attorney General for state.
He was slated for U.S. Attorney.
U.S. Attorney.
And but whenever there's a higher office, I don't care if it's U.S. Attorney, Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, U.S. Senator, U.S. Congressman, if Jeff Van Drew ever decided to retire, Michael Testa's name is mentioned.
Yeah.
And there's a reason.
And he'll win.
Well, there's a reason his name is mentioned, because he absolutely has destroyed the Democrats in this part of the world.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And he will continue to destroy anybody who wants to come at him, Democrats or Republicans for that matter. And so there's no question that Michael will be the senator for just as long as he wants to be. He's doing a phenomenal job in Trenton. Absolutely a phenomenal job. One of the most conservative senators, from the Republican perspective anyway.
Sure.
One of the most conservative senators that we have. He's not at all ashamed. He's a proud conservative Republican, and he is able to negotiate with the Democrats in Trenton. Let's face it, the Democrats control the state. But he's able to negotiate with the Democrats in Trenton, still get what the district needs in big numbers. Hundreds of millions of dollars between actual grants and tax credits and things that will actually develop this part of the state, long overdue. And yet he still doesn't kowtow to the Democrats. He makes sure the Democrats know that he's a Republican. just the total package. I mean, he's great.
He
but
is.
where we got on all of that praise for Senator Testa was I'm also grateful that he welcomed me into Cumberland County.
Well, I think he's grateful you
I
came.
hope he is. I'm sure. I'm sure
you've
he is.
come. It's been go, 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 win, win, win.
One thing Michael is all about is gratitude. I wish I could remember the quote exactly as he says it, but gratitude is not just a virtue; it's the basis on which all other virtues that's attributed to Cicero or something. But Michael uses that a lot, and gratitude is very important. I'm grateful that he brought me down here, and I'm sure he's grateful for what I do. But it's not just about him and me. I mean, a lot of people in Cumberland County have decided that they want to get involved in this movement. Too many people to mention because I'd leave out 3/4 of them in the time we have here. But so many volunteers. We have a breakfast every other Saturday,
amazing.
as you know.
You have more at one breakfast than the Democrats have at meetings for the entire year.
We have scores of people around the county. The campaign's now kicking off in earnest.
Yeah, that's
Commissioner Albrecht and Commissioner Lodes are up for re-election.
Yeah, Commissioner Lodes told me the other day she's out campaigning already, and that's another great thing.
We're
you
all
have
over.
Campaigning. You have the general, right? Mike Donato.
General Sheriff Donato, the self-proclaimed general. Exactly.
I always tell the story. I did not know Mike Donato. And I mean, my God, I was in government 35 years. I didn't know the guy. They said, Jim, it's a good thing you didn't know him because he worked for the prosecutor's department, was looking for undercover problems or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Well, then I got to meet the guy, and oh, my God, I love the man. He is phenomenal. He is one of the best people. And I like Austino a lot, but geez, this guy is unreal. He donates his time at the baseball tournament. He's cooking French fries for us. He's got his kids there, his daughters. He goes and follows them with their field hockey, and he's active. And this is a cute story, too. I got to tell you this one. When Mike was on with me, and I knew this happened because Sandy Taylor told me about this story. Sandy was probably 10 years older than Mike. So Sandy was like 18 working at Farmers Bank in Cedarville. Mm-hmm. So anyway, Mikey was like 7, 8, something like that. And
I don't know that Sandy wants you to shout her out as being 10 years older than Mike, too.
Well, I'm sorry, Sandy.
Too late now.
Sorry, kid. Well, we won't sell. Mike's only like 32.
Mike's like 30.
Yeah. I'd say we'll cover myself there, so she'll still speak to me. But anyway, what happened was she would go out and give the kids lollipops.
Yeah.
Which was really nice. And I said, Mike and I were talking about it. I said, now, Mike, I know why Sandy Taylor won, because she gave all the kids lollipops when they had to be voters. And he said, we remembered Miss Sandy. She took care of us doing that. Right. But again, another great county commissioner you've got. I said you had Tori Lodes on the other night. Well, she's phenomenal. What a bright lady. Great background, all the things you want to bring to the table. So it's really good. We're going to be back to talk more with Joe Condo about all the good things that are happening in Cumberland and the 1st District in particular, right after these messages.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community. Local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. With more than 41 years of service to our valued customers, Advanced Treads in Norman, New Jersey is South Jersey's full-service distributor of General Tires. We feature a complete line of passenger vehicle tires, light truck, farm, and commercial tires. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tires, anywhere is possible. Advanced Treads, 1325 West Landis Avenue in Norman, New Jersey. Call them today at 856-696-5600. 5004. When you need tires, there is only one name you can trust: Advanced Treads of Norma, New Jersey.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Joe Condo, who is Mr. Republican in Cumberland, 1st District, Cumberland County, Atlantic County, and Cape May County, obviously, are the districts that Senator Testa serves. And speaking of that, coming up this Thursday evening, going to have Assemblyman Eric Simonson will be on with me. And that guy's a talented guy. He's athletic director, educator, plays music. He plays music. Joe, you got to come back. You and I have to go sometime. You have to go to my cousin's restaurant in Rio Grande, Men's.
Oh, that I didn't know that was your cousin's restaurant. Simo plays there.
Yeah, that's
right.
that's
I'd love to go down.
About. Yeah. In fact, it's funny. My cousin Johnny's the bartender, super guy, and I finally my uncle Franklin, who owned it, passed away, obviously, and he was a diehard Democrat, real diehard Democrat. So Johnny is charismatic. He'd make a great committee person for you in Dennis Township or something. So I'm talking to him, and we got realistic. I said, Johnny, he's a good-looking guy. I said, Johnny, you've got to be a Republican. You can win. So he's coming over. And so anyway, we'll have to beat him. Senator Testa knows him. Senator's been through the whole restaurant and all that kind of stuff. My cousin Jay, of course, is the main owner, his 2 sisters, and his son is John. John does the bartending and stuff. But great food, folks, it really is. And they used to be, this was neat, Joe. They were in Millville and Vineland. The restaurant was right on the Millville-Vineland line up near 55 overpass. Exit 27, if you're heading north on 27 and you get off, that's about where the restaurant was. So they had to tear it down to be in the highway. And the neat thing was, while it was still there, you parked in Millville and you ate in Vineland because the parking lot was in Millville and the restaurant was in Vineland. But they did very well there too, and they seat 350 people.
Wow!
My sister is a retired speech therapist. She works part time for my cousin, and on Father's Day they had 500 reservations.
Wow!
Mother's Day they had 550. So they do well. They really do, and you got to, if you go there, you got to try the banana cream pie. My Aunt Marie, God bless her soul, that was her recipe. And if you like banana cream pie, it's one of the
There's
best.
no such thing as bad banana cream
that's
pie.
right. In fact, it was funny. Tori and I were talking the other night about Joe Spracio, who I love.
Yeah.
And he used to raise strawberries. I'm like, God, they were the best. Tori said, yeah, we used to get them and make pies and stuff. Now she said they go get blueberries, and she makes her boys blueberry pie. And I said, well, I've never found a pie I haven't liked.
Right. Some pie is better than others.
Yeah, that's true.
It's bad pie.
Especially blueberry pies
Right.
and apple pie and all that kind of stuff is good. But I guess let's talk a little bit more about Eric and Antoine.
Yeah.
They're up for re-election.
They are.
And it was interesting because between you and I'm going to tell a secret. Joe said to me, Jim, I don't know, this is going to be a tough election because Mike Testa's not on the ticket. But it's not going to be. Because I don't need
to correct the record. This isn't going to be a tough election because this is going to be a different election because Mike Testa's not on.
I guess.
This is the first time because in 2019 was a special election.
That's right.
When then Senator Van Drew got elected to the Congress.
Right.
So Testa ran in 2019 when it was otherwise just an assembly race.
Right, gotcha.
So it was Michael and Eric and Antoine in 2019 because it was a special election for Senate because of the seat vacated by Van Drew. Right. Then 2021 was the ordinary Senate race, and then because of COVID and they couldn't get the there was redistricting done in time. 2023 ended up being all three of them on the ballot.
Oh, so he had to run three
all
times
three
in a
of
row.
them have run together three times now. So this is the first time that Antoine and Eric will be running without Senator Testa on the ballot. But they have done such a phenomenal job in the Assembly. They all won by 30 points the last time. I have no doubt they will carry this district by
I
30
totally
points.
agree with you. Yeah.
30 points this time. But it's going to be a little different this time.
I know what you
without
mean, not
Michael on the
having
ballot.
Senator leading the ticket. But
Yep.
again, it's just been.
And Antoine and Eric are both from Cape May County, of course.
And it was
But
smart,
they're-
too. I don't know if you said it, or maybe it was Nick Caselda said to me, you think about it, Eric is from Lower Township, one of the bigger communities in Cape May County, and Antoine's from Ocean City, one of the biggest cities. So you got two big areas for them to draw from, and everybody loves them. I mean, I don't know anybody doesn't like Antoine, and like you said, Eric is everything. He's athletic director, teacher, musician. He does it all. He was the mayor too, I think.
He was. I think you're right. I think he was the mayor of Lower Township.
Yeah.
But Eric and Antoine have been. They're all like any good. We back up half a step. The reason the Assembly runs every 2 years is obviously because you want to keep the Assembly members in the community. And Eric and Antoine are in the community
I see
all
them all
over
the time
Cumberland
on
County.
Facebook,
They're everywhere. The district runs to Bridgeton, and they are everywhere from Bridgeton to Cape May all the time. So Eric and Antoine are absolutely no doubt at all that Eric and I don't even know who their opponents are. If they
I don't either.
If they even have opponents.
I don't know who their opponents are either.
But we will not take that for granted.
No.
There's one thing that the gospel, according to Joe Condo, is you do not take that for granted. If you have an opponent, you're running hard, and they're going to be running hard.
Well, Joe, I give you credit there, and that's where, like when Tori said to me Thursday when we were doing the show at the Queen Diner, he said, "Oh yeah, Jim, we're going over to Hopewell, we're going to Bridgeton, we're doing this." And I'm honestly, and I have to be honest myself, other than the first year I ran, and then my teammates didn't run with me, so I was out banging on doors by myself. And then from then on, of course, I guess you get lazy because it was pretty much a Democratic county. I didn't have to worry about losing until Jim Florio came on the scene to take me down. But I'm so impressed with all your people. I mean, I know when I've talked to Jimmy Sorrow and Mike Donato, of course, they call him the general because he's after him. Get out, get out, get out. And Sandy Taylor and Art Marchand, they ran, and they were everywhere, just banging on doors.
And the results showed that.
It sure did.
They're up again next year. So Donato and Sorrow and Marchand and Taylor, and they'll do the same kind of work last year. But everybody is rowing this year. We had a little setback last year, presidential election, and you've said it how many times, and even when I've been on your show, right? Presidential elections are a little harder for Republicans because Democrats come out and vote in presidential elections,
and that's the only election they voted.
Might be in many cases the only election, but it was a good swift reminder for us about the importance of the ground game, the importance of getting out and meeting people, and we learned a few things about why we lost a seat last year, and we learned from that, and we've taken some corrective action. So I can assure you that we're back in force this year.
Well, and don't forget, in all fairness, Austino was very, very well known because he'd been the sheriff for a long time.
Right.
And the same with Celeste Riley. Celeste was an assemblywoman, got a giant family, has been there. They're tough. They're too. And that's why
they're tough to take out in a presidential election year. But I make no excuse. I make no excuses other than if we had executed the way we should have executed, we would have taken. And I love Celeste Riley. I think the world of her. I don't really know Bob Austino well, but he's been around far longer than I have. But I dare say that if we had executed properly last year, we would probably have been successful across the board. Because let's not forget, President Trump carried Cumberland County last year.
That's true. Yeah.
First time a Republican presidential candidate carried Cumberland County in 28 years or something like that. So for the president to carry Cumberland County, Congressman Van Drew carried the county by a significant margin. Yeah. Even Curtis Bashaw, and I say even Curtis Bashaw because he came in third, but Curtis Bashaw carried Cumberland County, and yet we fell a little short on the county level. So we've analyzed those data to death, and we know exactly what happened. So of course I'm not going to disclose that on the show. We know exactly what happened, and we're taking corrective action.
But, it's gotten to the point, and of course I've been a Democrat for many, many, many years. There are almost no organization, unfortunately, and that's what happens, I guess, when you lose. It's hard to get people encouraged to operate and to run. And Johnny Capp, I love the guy. He's gone for a third time. And Mrs. Balicki is an attorney, very sharp lady, but it's very difficult for the Democrats to get the people motivated, to get them out, to get them doing that. And that's because they're not winning. I mean, I saw the other side when I was a Democrat and we were winning. The Republicans had difficulty.
I'm a Republican
candidates.
from Camden County. I fully understand.
Know, that's right. Sure.
I fully understand
yes, you do.
the demotivation of not being able to win, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Somebody said something to me recently. I've actually served 35 years in government, about half in Millville and half in the county. Mm-hmm. And probably the nicest election, Joe, I ever ran in was 1997 in Millville for the city commission. And Millville's a messed up form of government. But I ran for city commission, and in that situation, Millville voters get 5 votes. The top vote getter becomes the mayor. So I ran, and I was the top vote getter. Mike Trout's dad, who I encouraged to run, Jeff, was number 2, and he's a Republican. But we didn't run as Republican Democrat.
Right.
He ran as Jeff
nonpartisan.
Trout. Yeah, right. I ran as Jim Quinn. The third person was Jim Parent. Again, a Democrat, had been the mayor in the past. Number 4 person was John Hollingshead, who was a registered Republican, very, very nice man. And the 5th person was Joe Durella, who was a registered Democrat. But you know what? We put the R's and the D's in the drawer. We forgot about them. We did what was best for the people of the city of Millville. We had a phenomenal 4 years, and another great 4 years, and another great 4 years. And for me, I'm the only person in the history of the city of Millville to ever win 3 terms. And that's because it's a messed up form of government. You don't know. I tell this story. Chet Goodwin, wonderful guy, he was Jim Hurley's brother-in-law, in fact, was the mayor of Millville. He's a Republican. I loved him. Super guy. So I go in the ballot box. Chet, number 1, boom. Well, I get to number 5, and this guy's a nice man. He didn't harm anything. He's a nice enough guy. I give him the 5th vote. Guess what? He went right to number 1. No way. In fact, he's a friend of mine. He really didn't want that position. That was not his forte.
To be mayor.
To be mayor.
Well,
that's the screwed up form of government.
Well, but you said something earlier, and I'm going to go on the record now because, of course, the Millville Commission is up this year, and I'm not getting involved in that race, despite rumors to the contrary. I'm not getting involved in that race on one way or the other. It is a nonpartisan form of government, and there are, from what I understand, 18 candidates already.
Yeah,
which means, you could get elected with less than 10% of the vote. I mean, it's just
that's
absurd.
pretty bad, isn't it? Yeah.
But the one thing that you said was the top vote getter becomes mayor.
Yep.
That is traditional. That is not the law.
That's true.
That is traditional. It's not the law.
That's right.
So the elected members of the commission choose from among themselves who the mayor is going to be.
Good point.
And one of the things that you just alluded to, you didn't say it, but you alluded to it, is it does chill people's willingness to vote for 5 candidates. Yeah. Because they want a bullet vote.
That's true.
For the candidate they want to have as
that's
mayor.
True too. Good
and
point.
so the result is people are throwing their votes away to try to have one candidate elected as the mayor. Yeah. But we begin where you started. I mean, we end where you started, which is this is a terrible form of government. And if I lived in Millville, I'd be working overtime to try to change it.
I wish you did, because I tried one of the times, and let me tell you why. When you think about it, what Joe just said is true. But the other side of it is, with a commission form of government, you have like 5 mini mayors. The guy that's in charge of public safety, don't tell me what to do, that's my department. And the guy that's got public works, that's my department. And that is their department. So as the mayor, I ran the meetings. And fortunately, I had economic development, which was my forte, to bring in businesses, and we worked on that. Jim Parent was the deputy mayor, and he took care of revenue, finance, and personnel. So, I mean, that's why they didn't. The commissioners wouldn't go along with changing the form of government. Joe, I don't think there's 4 commission forms of government in the state of New Jersey.
Oh, probably not.
Sea Isle City did away with theirs when the mayor
probably not. Millville needs to. I mean, it's none of my business. Some would say I don't live in Millville, but I know enough about government and forms of government and municipal government to say it is a terrible form of government that needs to be completely
This has
reconsidered.
probably been 4 of the worst years, and I thank God I finished 4th. I decided, because one guy that was on there I could never ever deal with, that's why I got the heck off of there. I said, I'm not going to do this to myself, because I finished 4th, and I I just said, no, I'm not doing it. They put Bobby McQuaid, which was to their credit, he finished sixth, put him in. And since then, it's been a revolving door. Who's out, who's in, who's out. And, it's just doesn't work. It's just not a good form of government. But until somebody steps up, like you, Joe, somebody that has the knowledge, that could do this. But it's
if I lived in Millville, we'd be having a different conversation. But I don't see myself moving to Millville.
Man, I got a spare room in my house. You could come live in Millville.
I hang out in Millville. There's lots of. I'm a member of the Millville Elks. Everybody knows I hang out in Millville and where I hang out in Millville. But it's nice to go back to Estelle Manor at the end of the day.
Well, you're in God's country.
I am in God's country. It's a beautiful piece of the world.
We're talking with Joe Condo, who is Mr. Republican in the 1st District, as well as all Cumberland County and Cape May County and the beautiful part of Atlantic County. We'll be back to talk more with Joe right after these messages.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, Doctors Beebe and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born right here in America. With more than 41 years of service to our valued customers, Advanced Treads in Norman, New Jersey is South Jersey's full-service distributor of General Tires. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tires, anywhere is possible. Advanced Treads, 1325 West Landis Avenue in Norman, New Jersey. Call them today at 856-696-5004.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. My special guest is Joe Condo, who is one of the leaders of the Republican Party for the 1st Legislative District. And you know what? Talk about people. I mean, I talked about the sheriff, Mike Donato. Yep. And, the people that are there are really good people. I really enjoy their personalities and all that stuff. But I don't think I enjoy anybody's personality more than Skip Louisi. He is just so much fun to be around. He does such a great job. And somebody here knows that things are going on. Tell us what's going on at the surrogates.
First of all, you're right. I mean, Skip is funny. He has this biting wit. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth next. He's a great guy. And the surrogate's office is not something people talk about often, right? True. You don't talk about the surrogate's office much. But I have to tell you, Skip, and once you're the surrogate, you're technically a judge.
Yes,
so he's not allowed to participate in
political
stuff anymore. Right. So don't get to see Skip as much as I would like to. Yeah. But all the things that we're doing, and one of these days we're going to have a more substantive conversation about this in the county and the Sheriff's Department. But big shout out, I saw the ad earlier on your program for the DeMarco Louisi Funeral Home, and it just reminded me that Skip's office, his staff, has done such a great job for him since he's got elected sheriff. The surrogate's office in Cumberland County was ranked 20th in the state when Skip took over,
There's
And
21 counties.
there's 21 counties,
Okay.
and it was ranked 20th. It is now third.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Third. So Skip, I know if he were here, he would be right in attributing that to the hard work of his staff in an office that is so usually overlooked and neglected. These folks in his office have just worked so hard to get him where he needs to be. His deputy surrogate, Bill Gilson, has been on board now for well over a year.
Bill attorney.
Bill's an attorney. Yep.
Yeah.
Bill's an attorney. And Skip, of course, is not.
Right,
He's
yes, right.
an undertaker by trade. But Skip and Bill, and most importantly, the office staff has done such a good job. You don't think about the surrogate's office, but when you realize that you went from 20th in the state to 3rd in the state, you're doing something right there. So big shout out to Skip Louisi, and more importantly to his team there in the surrogate's office. So always happy to talk about Skip, and he is. Got a sense of humor that you have to love.
I love him. I love his sense of humor.
So one time, I forget what event we were at, but I said, I excused myself from the table, and I said, I'll be right back. And he says, yeah, well, I hope you come back a nicer person. All I could do is laugh. And I'm like, no, Skip, not a chance. I'm coming back a nicer person. But that's between God and me. So,
Speaking of nice people, Dante Land is on watching and said that Joe Condo is the man when it comes to campaigning. I agree with you, Dante. And by the way, this Thursday, Dante will probably see you. We're going to have Eric Simonson will be my guest at the New Jersey Motorsports Park. We'll probably do the show, I think it's 5 o'clock to 6. So if you want to come out, we're in the conference room. There's plenty of seating in there. You're welcome to come in and sit in the conference room with us. And then many of us stay around and have dinner afterwards. So if you want to do that as well, that's a possibility. But I look forward. I see Antoine a lot, but I haven't run into Eric as much as I do Antoine. Is Antoine's birthday last week?
last week, I think it was like today, wasn't it?
Oh, was it today? Okay, maybe.
Might have been today. I don't know. I didn't get invited to his birthday party, so I don't know.
I didn't either.
Through the magic of Facebook, we found out. But you
yesterday.
mentioned Dante Land, and I huge shout out to Dante. I know obviously Dante is watching, so I want to say publicly, few people work harder than Dante. And if you don't know Dante, Dante's not even 30 years old. And people ask me sometimes, like, why are you still doing this after all of these years? I mean, contrary to popular belief, I don't get paid for this political work. You see the patent license agreement in the background.
That's how you make a living.
I make a living as a patent lawyer, and thanks be to God, I make a good living as a patent lawyer. But I have nothing else to do with my life, so this is my avocation, and it has been for 40 years. Why do you do it? Because I see somebody like Dante who's willing to devote that much of his life, who's that dedicated to it, a young man who has such a future in this country and in this area. He's not moving. He lives in Millville. He's not moving out of Millville. He's not moving out of Cumberland County. And we're going to make a future for people like Dante Land. He's just the best. The best.
He's Antoine's legislative.
No. Dante's purely a volunteer. He has no position.
Because he's been at a lot of the events that I've done, and that's great. God bless him.
He is everywhere, and he's not afraid of anything, and he is absolutely principled. And so I'm happy that you pulled him up of all the people that are commenting, because he is truly somebody that's dedicated to the cause and deserves to see us succeed. And that's why I encourage, especially folks of our age, to continue to do this, not for our own benefit, but for the benefit of the future generation that'll be here long after we're gone.
Boy, and that's what's tough. Like I was saying with the Democratic Party, there's so few people, and there's no young people coming up. So at least with Dante, and you got Ben Romanek, who's young, and I know they're buddies. And
I have good news. Good news for anybody who's young and wants to be a Democrat. There's room in the Republican Party for you. because if you look at the voter registration in Cumberland County, we have closed the gap from what was 13 or 14,000 to down to just, I think it's under 2,000 now. And young people in Cumberland County, under 21, they're registering Republican by 80 to 20.
Wow.
So clearly the future of Cumberland County is going to be Republican. Might even be enough to entice me to move into the county.
Well, that would be nice.
Some people would agree with you, some people not so much.
In fact, it was interesting. I just read, and you could have to help me with these names.
Yeah.
There was a fella who wanted to get some type of position who lived for a while in Atlantic County. And for some reason, the Atlantic County senator wasn't supporting him. But what he did was he moved to Cape May County, and Senator Testa supported him. So it was nice for him to have that opportunity, as you've talked about moving too. Give that. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, I thought that was nice that the fellow seems like a really qualified person.
Really qualified person, long family history of involvement in the Republican Party. So he moved out of Atlantic County to Cape May County,
Right.
which put him
And it's
squarely in Senator Testa's
Right,
district.
exactly.
And so everybody knows how senatorial courtesy works.
Yes.
It matters where you live.
Yeah, it sure does.
And so a lot of Republicans were aggravated with Senator Testa that he did this, but the guy moved to Cape May County. What are you going to do?
Yep.
So it was a great appointment. It was
Yeah.
a great appointment, and Senator Testa took a lot of heat for it, mostly from Republicans.
I'll give
and
him credit, though.
I give him credit for standing his ground. Exactly, he wanted that. That was the right appointment.
Yeah.
And he stood his ground and
Yeah.
gave up a chit and senatorial courtesy to get that through, and did his job.
Well, it's interesting. Speaking of Senator Testa, Tori and I were talking the other day, and I mean this sincerely, folks. There's been 4 state senators basically during that time. Well, there's been more than that. There was Jimmy Cafaro too. But the ones that I really, really locked in on, Nick Iselda was fantastic. I was mayor. He'd take me up to Trenton with him, take me across the aisle to the Republicans, and we'd get things done. He actually helped finish the Thunderbolt Club. He got a grant from the state to finish the Thunderbolt Club, did a fabulous job, and I think the world of Nick. Then one of my other favorites was Jim Hurley. Jim, I idolized. Jim was a teacher. I became a teacher. Jim did the play-by-play for Millville football. I did the for Millville football. Jim started his own public relations company, Jim Hurley Associates. I started Jim Quinn Associates. But I mean, I just thought the world of the man. Another wonderful senator for the first legislative district, and then of course Senator Testa is like a rock star. Right. This guy is unreal. And I'm trying. That's 3. There's somebody else, I think. Well, Hurley, Testa.
You have to throw Van Drew in there.
No, I won't. No, I will not throw Van Drew in there. No, not at all. He was not one of my favorite senators. What was frustrating for me was I went 3 times to Senator Van Drew, and I said, I've been the mayor, I've been the freeholder director, I've got all this experience. Could I run for assembly? No. But he put somebody in that had no experience whatsoever, but he was so darn popular, he would win. In fact, it was funny, in 2019, I had the unanimous support of the Cumberland County Democrats to run for assembly. And he called me. This is a quote from him on the phone. Jim Quinn, Jeff Van Drew, the titular head of the Democratic Party in 1st Legislative District, am telling you, you're not running. So I didn't run. I would have lost anyway.
This is 2019?
Yeah. Yes, it was, yeah.
So he did you a favor.
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah. I didn't realize it at the time, but he did because you guys kicked butt. But that's where my frustration, not that he doesn't do a good job, but he just would never give me the consideration. And like I said, ask and ask and ask. And, I mean, what more? And what frustrated me was not that they weren't nice guys, but none of them had any governmental experience at all. Nothing, but they won because of him. And to his credit, he was one of the few Democrats that could win in Cape May County.
Right.
And to that point, and he worked hard, he campaigned hard, a lot of good things about him, but personally,
he's a tireless campaigner.
Oh, he's unbelievable. He never lets up.
Never lets up.
In fact, when I had him on TV with me years ago at Hopewell Township, and I think he had just gotten into Congress. And at that point in time, it's maybe summertime, and he had already gone to like 250 events or something. And nobody in Congress even came close to him because he is very, very hard worker and does, works very hard. And, but that's my honesty. But, he's done a good job for the district. I can't take that away from him.
Absolutely, yes.
And as I thought about it, he did me a favor. I would have lost anyway. I couldn't have beat your guys, nor did any of his guys win.
Right.
But that showed how powerful he was, and he carried them all the time.
When he was on the ballot.
Exactly, when he was on the ballot. But he tried to transfer his popularity to them not be on the ballot.
That never works.
No,
never works.
No, not at all. Anyway, we'll be back to wrap up our program with Joe Condo right after these messages.
The most important decisions a family can make are usually made around the kitchen table. At DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, we believe pre-planning and the difficult decisions you face with the loss of a loved one should also be made around the comfort of a table, like a family. Our friendly, kind, and compassionate staff is committed to helping you get through this most difficult time. In your time of need, trust DeMarco Luisi Funeral Home, Vineland.
Imagine living without pain. For over 35 years, doctors Beebe and Doyle have helped thousands of people find relief from all types of pain. Millville Chiropractic Center has 4 doctors on staff specializing in hands-on or light-touch, drug-free pain relief methods. The examination, x-rays, therapies, and adjustments are all performed at one location. Schedule a consultation today. Enjoy life without pain and discomfort. Millville Chiropractic Center, the area's #1 pain relief center.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
Welcome back to Around South Jersey. Joe Condo, who is the chair, I guess.
Campaign director is usually the title that I use. Everybody's got to have a title.
Yes,
so you have
absolutely.
to have a title.
Yeah. Well, you're also.
I direct the campaigns.
Well, and you do one heck of a job. And honestly, in all these campaigns you've directed, how many people have lost? 2?
One.
Well,
two if you count the fact that we were unable to unseat Celeste last year.
Right, she was an incumbent.
Right, she was an incumbent.
Right.
But so
it was just
one.
20,
21 we swept, 22 we swept, 23 we swept, and last year we retained one of our 2 seats. One of the 3 seats was ours.
Yeah.
Let me state that clearly. 2 of the 3 seats were ours.
Right.
We retained one of them. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, we've lost exactly 1 election.
And you know, one of my you know this too, one of my very, very favorite Republicans, there's a couple of them, but I've talked about many of them tonight, is Joe Sparacio. I love the man. And there's a guy that certainly, in fact, I'll tell you truthfully, I think somewhere down the road, although, well, you got Senator Van Drew now, but I know Joe had said to me years back, when he got to be older, he would like to maybe consider running for Congress. But now you got Senator Testa, he's like the rock star, you know, that type thing. But my point was, when Joe gets done his military thing, it would be nice to have him back on the county commission board. And he's a winner and just the nicest man. I don't know, do you know Carmen D'Addario?
Absolutely, yes. Love Carmen.
Me too.
Love Carmen.
He and Tom Shepard were on, super guys when I was with them. And do you know his brother? Johnny.
I know John much better than I know Carmen. I love them both.
John is like, he's amazing. He walks in a room and lights up the whole room. He's got such a great personality, great sense of humor.
First time I met John D'Addario was like, he didn't pull a punch with me, and I'm like, I'm going to like this guy, and I really do. I mean, John is old world, and you know where he's coming from. John's actually, I don't know what the proper title, chair of the Cumberland County Utilities Authority now.
Oh, okay.
President or chairman or whatever the proper title is.
Yeah, that's great.
And, so John, and they're doing a great job. The CCUA is just doing a fine job. Hopefully we'll get the CCIA under control one of these days. But the CCUA is just they're making a profit. They're doing things. They're expanding. They're getting stuff done.
You know, I got to tell you, I had the fellow that you just put on the CCIA on.
Perry Barcy.
No, the guy from WVLT radios.
Carl Hempel.
Carl was on with me, and Carl had said some good things about Jerry Velasquez. I have to tell you, I know there's pros and cons. But when I was a freeholder, on the board, Jerry was still is now in charge. And what made me feel good, Joe, was we had the South Jersey Development Council meetings.
Yeah.
There was Atlantic County, Cape May County.
I believe they
Cumberland,
still
South
occur.
County. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I represented Cumberland County. And at one of the meetings, Ben Laurie speaks up and says, I want to thank the Cumberland County Improvement Authority and Jerry Velasquez for the work they did on the building, their courthouse, or their office building in Salem. He was able to get the bids to come in real cheap and blah, blah, blah. And then Will Morey goes, I want to thank Jerry and the Cumberland County Improvement Authority. They did a project for them. There was a dilapidated shopping center at Route 9 and 47 in Rio Grande. And he said, Jerry did a fabulous job. So it made me feel good that you had two counties, not Cumberland, but two counties, who said what a great job Cumberland County's Improvement Authority was doing at that point in time. So, I mean, that to me, and I know Jerry has his way about him, but he was actually the Empowerment Zone director when I was the mayor of Millville. That started in 2000, so that's when I first met him and things of that nature. But you've got Perry on there now and Carl Hempel, I had Carl on. Did you see that show yet?
When you interviewed Carl? No, I did not. I'm going to go home tonight and look that one up. I want to see that one.
He's great.
Yeah,
he really was. He's talking about the senior citizens, he and I, and coming back, that type thing. But Carl has done a great job.
No, I didn't see that one. I might have to go home tonight and pour a drink and watch that one.
Well, and thank you for mentioning that, folks. The nice thing about this program now is there's 67,000 homes in Cumberland County that have Comcast. So that's okay. But there are millions of people that can watch it from all over the world on YouTube. So that's what makes it really, and at almost any time you want, just go to Quinn Broadcasting YouTube page and go down the list.
Do it all the time. You come up on my favorites now on my YouTube, like on my smart TV, and always watch it.
Well, you're one of my favorites. So
Absolutely.
Mutual admiration society.
Right.
As well. Right. So before we wrap up, a couple of minutes, what do you think on the governor's race, Chitterelli and Mikey?
The propaganda wars have already started, and I can sum it up like this. I mean, Jack Chitterelli has run a statewide race before. He knows exactly how to run a statewide race. Yeah. He's been running a statewide race for the past 5 years.
Exactly.
Right? He's not new to the campaign.
Right.
The Congresswoman is new to statewide politics. She doesn't have the draw in South Jersey that certainly Jack Chitterelli has.
Right.
Doesn't even have that appeal among Democrats in South Jersey. And what I will say, unabashedly, is the polling data is clear right now. If the election were held today, it's a neck-and-neck race within the margin of the poll. Once the world learns what Mikey Sherrill is really all about, Chitterelli smokes her.
Okay.
And we have to see how the campaign develops, but Chitterelli's been vetted by Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah.
There's nothing new coming out about Jack Chitterelli. The world doesn't know anything about Mikey Sherrill yet.
Yeah,
and even the people in her own congressional district don't know what's about to hit her. So I would say there's some foreshadowing. This is not going to be a gloves off campaign by any means. And once the Chitterelli message gets out about him and about the Congresswoman, he wins by 7 points.
Okay.
There's the Condo prediction today.
Right.
7 points.
Okay.
That's how big a victory this turns out to be.
November, we'll check on that.
Well, I'll be back in November,
Yep.
and you can check me on the 7 points.
All right,
I'll let you know if it changes.
Thanks, Pal.
Jim. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
you're
Always happy to be here.
Thank you. Paul Spinelli, thanks for watching. Paul said to say hello to Joe.
Paul's the best.
He is. Great city council president
Yep,
of the city of Vineland, and wonderful person. And his wife, Josie, is president of the Vineland Rotary. I'm really impressed, Josie. That's the biggest
Two real community activists and just wonderful people.
Yes, they are. Super people. Anyway, for Joe Condo, I'm Jim Quinn. Thank you for joining us. And George Kachia, thank you for producing this show. And we'll see you real soon. Take care, folks. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.